Today we're talking wisdom, ethics and discipline. This is the path to liberation from the dissatisfaction and its causes that we acknowledged last week as a result of diving into the Four Noble Truths. As I mentioned then, the Eightfold Path is indeed the remedy, the roadmap and the direct instructions from the Buddha as to what we need to do. A complete framework of instructions presented in 3 different categories and broken down into 8 different topics. There are some slight variations as to when the end goal may be accomplished and what it consists of exactly. This differs slightly between different Buddhist schools. But regardless, the middle way remains the guiding light to liberation and enlightenment in the form of the Eightfold Path. Hello friends, and welcome back to Beyond Belief, where we continue to look at Buddhism through a secular lens without ritual, unnecessary belief or religious dogma. As a former Buddhist monk, I should take the opportunity to point out that you don't need to believe anything that I am saying, and you certainly don't need to agree. There are many different forms of practice, and they're all equally valid. I am only here to plant a seed that may in itself help you to question, to find your comfort zone, and to navigate your own path of practice. The Eightfold Path is cleverly laid out to cover the areas of wisdom, ethics, and discipline, but come in no particular order of importance. That said, the topics are most often read out and remembered in a certain sequence. Here the English translation and the wording might vary slightly, as I choose to not use the Pali terminology, but rather focus on the content and the practical implementations. I'm going to deliver them to you in the sequence that they're most often presented in, but before doing so, I think it's important to point out that my goal here is not to dwell on these individually as an academic exercise or in a monastic fashion, but rather show you how these hold together as one solid framework and the cure to dissatisfaction. If you get the principle behind the structure of the 8 topics, they are pretty self-explanatory in a way. But if you start in the wrong end, it might seem complicated to tie them all together. So let me list them for you without getting into each individual topic, just to give you an idea where we're heading with this. Then we'll talk about the glue that holds this together. And finally, we can briefly look at each one individually. So, in the area of wisdom, we have right view and right intention. In the category of ethics and virtue, we have right speech, right action, and right livelihood. And finally, in discipline, we find right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So there you have them. But let me point out something right away. As I happen to know the Pali terminology, the translation can be a tad rigid sounding in a sense. Remember that we're not following rules handed down from on high. They're not forced upon us by some divine authority. The word right in this context does not mean correct, but rather upright, as in balanced or in tune like the strings on an instrument. Actually, I think in tune is a good way of thinking about it. as strings on an instrument, because it is indeed a set of strings that need to be played together in order to function in harmony, as the middle way. Right view is creating a realistic understanding. Right view is the commitment to developing a personal operational philosophy based on reality, seeing things for what they really are. It's the functional, realistic understanding of cause and effect in your life. It involves adopting a worldview that acknowledges complexity, impermanence, and non-self, moving you away from rigid or dogmatic beliefs. For instance, you understand that feeling angry and dwelling on it will make you miserable, while forgiveness or letting go will bring relief. Right intention is the ethical motivation. This involves cultivating intentions of letting go, grasping and clinging to thoughts, wishing well for yourself and others by avoiding thoughts and actions that cause distress, both for yourself and for other beings. It serves as an internal compass, ensuring that your motives are rooted in kindness and respect, rather than greed, hatred, and delusion. One thing that helps me to stay on track is to constantly remind myself that I may be wrong. It's a way of not blindly believing what my mind is telling me. Right speech, or mindful communication. Right speech is the discipline of using language as a tool for connection and truth. It's a commitment to linguistic hygiene, you could say, and emotional intelligence. The way I apply this is by constantly trying to pause before speaking, asking myself 4 key questions. Is what I'm about to say true? Is it kind? Is it constructive and helpful? And most importantly, is this the right moment to say what I'm about to say? Right action. I find it entirely unnecessary when religions remind us that it's a bad idea to rape, kill, and steal. I know that, and I understand why. Right action is the practical implementation of a non-harming principle in your physical contact. It's about establishing a foundation of respect and rights for others, whether those are fellow humans, animals, or the environment. Again, it's all about generating a deep mindfulness of our ethical behavior, particularly when it comes to more subtle aspects. Right livelihood, sustainable work from a secular perspective, is right livelihood is about ensuring that your professional life aligns with your values. It is the commitment to earning a living in a manner that is socially responsible. The goal is to maximize the benefit of your work and bring value to society while minimizing the negative impacts, fully integrating your ethics into your 9 to 5 or to your career path. This might mean leaving a job that involves deceptive sales practices to pursue one that genuinely helps other people. Right effort is the mental energy management. It's the psychological energy required to interrupt bad habits and consistently build good ones, moving you from reacting impulsively to responding intentionally. There are various strategies that can be applied here, but I personally always felt that with sufficient mindfulness, the same strategy applies across the board. It's all about building an awareness and observation of your habits. And this is the very glue and the harmony that binds all of these aspects together. That naturally leads us on to right mindfulness, present awareness. This is what we have practiced in meditation together. Right mindfulness is the habit to develop a sustained, non-reactive attention to the present moment. It's the intentional moment-to-moment awareness of what is happening, both internally and externally, without getting lost in evaluation or judgment. This clarity of awareness allows us to observe our emotional reactions. Like I've said before, it functions like a mental pause button, allowing you to notice physical tension in your body, like when you feel stressed, for example, and using that awareness to remain non-reactive. Right concentration, sustained focus is the training of deep, focused attention. This is the cultivated skill of directing your attention onto a single object or task without distraction. This is what we are intending to develop through our meditation practice. To use a popular term, this is often described as a state of flow in modern psychology. This focused attention is crucial because it creates the necessary mental quietude and clarity for insight to arise profoundly without distortion. So there you have it, the complete Eightfold Path. It's not a ladder where you must complete one step before moving on to the number 2. It's more like 8 separate threads that you weave together simultaneously, each one reinforcing the others. Like I said, it's much like 8 strings on an instrument. And by keeping those in tune, we're simply engaging in a character training program designed to maximize our well-being and minimize the suffering we cause in the world. This is the middle way in action. So now let's do some meditation together. Today's meditation is going to be focused on openness and the consideration of others. A practice often referred to as loving kindness. As usual, as we sit for meditation, we take a moment to get comfortable. We sit with the back straight, whether that's on the floor or on a chair. We close our eyes and we scan the body for any unwanted tension. If there is any tightness in the body or any mental or emotional stress in the form of restlessness, worry, or anxiety. We let go of any unpleasant encounter that we may have had, or even a memory that's been haunting us. Right here and right now, we enjoy the calm and the stillness in the space that we are in. We open up by recognizing if there is anything that is causing contractions or defense. So just notice that now and simply have a global sense of yourself. We open up to the now by taking note and letting go of any tension to return to the natural state of relaxation and openness. As we begin this meditation by just consciously generating the wish, the intention for all beings' happiness, that all beings may come out of suffering and delusion. And as we start to think about the openness, we let go of the small, contracted self that only thinks about our own needs and desires. And so we open to the suffering of others, wishing for their happiness. We generate loving kindness into this very moment by wishing that all beings may be well and may be free from suffering. And you may notice that when we just gently move our attitude towards exactly that, how openness is just a natural response. Don't be concerned or worried. We don't blame ourselves or others. Nothing can affect us now. We feel compassion for ourselves and for others. There is no guilt or no hard feelings. There is forgiveness. We let go of trying to do anything, of trying even to be compassionate. Just let go, relax, and come into this moment as it is, in its fullest, deepest reality that's known to us right now. We enjoy the silence of the space that we are in. We are open to life as it presents itself, with each breath in and each breath out. Open and aware, not caught in imagining or daydreaming, not caught in desire or aversion. We simply notice those things as they arise, without judgment, without notions of right or wrong, good or bad. We observe, but we don't engage. As a thought arises, we come back into that moment of complete awareness, and it dissolves back into the space where it seemingly appeared from. We don't need to dissolve it. If a painful feeling arises, we come to the complete awareness and acceptance of it. And we don't change it. It dissolves into a pleasant feeling. We are fully present with that, but aware of its changing nature. The sounds, the smells, whatever arises, complete openness and acceptance. We pay attention without clinging. We can notice that between each thought there is a gap. You can notice that space, the thoughts dissolving away and a new one appearing. Even if it's just for a fraction of a second, keep paying attention to that gap, and in doing so, that gap will widen. The gap between the thoughts will increase. You turn your attention to the awareness itself, which is always there, but it's simply clouded by thoughts, memories, fears, and desires. Every time we identify, reach out, cling, and hold on to any of these phenomena that arise within this body, we misinterpret them as me or as mine, my achievements, my experience, or my anxiety. There is a wisdom beyond thoughts, a wisdom beyond concepts, and that's its very nature. With right view, we have access to the Buddha mind. The word Buddha simply means the one who knows, the one who is awake. This is not something esoteric or mysterious. It's here, right here, as it always is now. We take a moment to gift ourselves and all living beings with loving kindness. Just like every week, I'm going to take a moment to answer some of your questions. Thank you very much for your emails. We have a couple of questions that directly follow up on last week's episode about the Four Noble Truths. Remember, if you have questions on monkhood, secular practice, or Buddhist philosophy in general, please post them in the comment section below. You're also most welcome to make suggestions for coming episodes or specific meditations that you want me to focus on. If you want to speak with me directly or get in touch for any other reason, as you know by now, you can send an email to the address that appears in the outro. So let's see. Yoga Berlin is asking, in the meditation section, you mentioned that we often get caught up in the past and the future. Why is the constant jumping between memories and imagination the source of dissatisfaction? Well, both the past and the future only exist as thoughts and narratives in our minds right now. The past is just your perception of what happened, and the future is just your projection of what might happen. By constantly living in these mental narratives, we miss out on the only time that we truly experience. Now, dissatisfaction arises when we cling to the idea that things in the past should have been different, or that things in the future must be perfect. Think about it for a second. There is no reason for that anxiety, as it is always now. Let's see. Sia is asking, you said, let's never blame external factors or others for our stress. If the neighbor slams the door, this is referring to last week, the noise is external. How then can the dissatisfaction solely be internal? Well, that's right. The noise itself is external, but it's also neutral. The dissatisfaction is solely your reaction and your projection. It's the internal narrative that you create. I can't remember what I said last week, but something along the lines of, why does he never learn? Referring to the neighbor. He must be the most ignorant person. And this spinning story, fueled by aversion and judgment, is what causes the stress and unease. The dissatisfaction lies in your mind, not in the door. In next week's episode, we're actually not going to tackle a particular big topic or one aspect of Buddha's teaching. I've gotten a lot of little, very general questions, so it will be a bit more of a light-hearted episode of mainly Q&A. We will, however, continue the practice with a guided meditation, of course. In the meantime, don't forget to weave all the threads of the Eightfold Path into your daily life. Until next week. Bye-bye.